Yo, what's up everyone? I'm back with the third episode of the Summer Summary series in which I will be discussing every team since offseason. And today we're gonna talk about the Lakers. We discussed the Warriors and the Clippers earlier, so if you haven't seen those videos, please give them a watch. And yeah, so we're still in the Pacific Division. Lakers up next, and the Lakers, yeah, what a weird story. What a sad story, actually. You know, at the start of last season, they were like the instant contenders. If they had to give out the championship trophy at the start of the season, I think people would have doubted between Miami Heat and the Lakers. You got Howard, Nash, Kobe, Meta, Pau Gasol in one team. That's a pretty stacked lineup. But what a disaster it turned out to be. Dwight was injured on his back. People tend to forget that, but he played through his injury, and that's why he didn't perform that high. I don't know what happened with Nash. Nash got injured as well. He didn't play that good. I don't know, did he have to get into kind of groove? And then you had Kobe, keeping them alive, getting them into the playoffs almost single-handedly. You had some good games from Gasol from time to time, some decent bench performance. But still, Kobe got him in the playoffs like he promised he would, and then he got injured and shit just hit the fan. Their offseason was not that special. They got a lot of guys though. They re-signed Jody Meeks and Robert Sacre. They had pretty alright games for them last season. They brought back Jordan Farmar, who was a champion with them in the past, together with Elias Harris and Sean Williams. Those three players are from international teams. And then they signed Wesley Johnson, Marcus Landry, and then Chris Kaman and Nick Young. Nick Young, he's an LA native. Fans already reacted pretty good to him going to the Lakers. So he played for the Clippers before, so he knows the LA lifestyle, obviously, since he grew up there, but still. But yeah, we'll see what he's able to bring for them. And a few guys left as well. They didn't pick up their option on Devin Ebanks and Andrew Godalock and Darius Morris. Earl Clark and Anton Jameson became free agents and they left, obviously. And then they had to waive for amnesty, Meta World Peace. He went to the Knicks. He's still very confident that the Lakers will be able to perform. A few days ago, he stated that Kobe will still come back at a very high level, get them to the finals and all that stuff. So we'll have to see. I'm rather curious how Meta will influence the Knicks, but that's for later. And then, of course, they couldn't sign Howard. Everyone was like, okay, we don't want you, Howard, just join whatever you want to join. We're the Lakers. You sucked anyway. You weren't a real Laker. You're not a real big man. You can't follow in the footsteps of Shaq and Kareem Abdul and Chamberlain and all that stuff. But that is some BS. Howard is still a very amazing player. He's the best big man in the league, or, well, the one with the most talent, in my opinion. He was injured. People forget that, but he was injured. If they would have been able to keep him, make him work together with Kobe, Kobe, I love seeing him play, but he's too stubborn. He should learn how to play with them together. Think about the Lakers' future. I don't know if they would have given him the sign that Kobe was gonna try and work together with Howard, make Howard have a slight transition to the spotlight, so Kobe could retire after 2 or 3 more years, maybe even winning a 6th championship for him. I don't know what would have happened, but he's gone now, so that was a huge blow for them. And well, they lost Meta. their best defender. So yeah, they got a crappy offseason in my opinion. You know, they got Kaman and Young, and if you look at their starting lineup, you know, they got Nash, Kobe, Nick Young, Pau Gasol, and Chris Kaman, which is a very good lineup. 5 years ago, they would have been instant contenders, you know, with a younger Nash, Kobe, and Gasol. I know there wasn't a doubt that they wouldn't be able to reach the finals, you know, that's for sure. But now they're getting older. I don't know at which level Kaman is going to be able to perform. So yeah, we'll see if Pau Gasol, Nash, and Kobe are able to play at a very high level. You know, the level that they are able to get to, which they didn't last year, except for Kobe. Then they still have a good chance to get pretty high in the West, but we'll have to see. Kobe is coming back from injury. I don't know, he's still Kobe, he's not human. So we'll see what happens with him. I don't know about Nash. I really wasn't convinced last year. Okay, yeah, he got injured, but we'll see what happens. You know, if they can get Nash and Paul working together as a second scoring option next to Kobe, it should turn out quite okay. You know, Nick Young needs to play smart. He needs to bring maturity to his game. You know, he had a good time in Washington and with the Clippers and all that stuff, but he needs to get serious about his game. I'm not saying he is not serious about playing basketball, but you know what I mean. And for the rest, yeah, they need their bench to be steady. You know, they got Steve Blake on it, Jody Meeks, Wesley Johnson, Elias Harris, Jordan Hill, Jordan Farmer, Sean Williams, Ryan Kelly, and Robert Sacre. That's not that big of a bench in terms of skill level, but if they can bring a spark, play their role correctly, and if the starter guys all do their jobs and are able to play at a high level, the Lakers could be safe. You know, at this moment, I do think the Clippers are still the best team in Los Angeles. We'll have to see, of course. You never know till the season has ended or is underway. But I don't know. You know, you got teams like the Pelicans at this moment. If you take in account previous season or what happened this summer or just before the summer, like all the injuries the Lakers had, I don't know, even the Pelicans could be better. They got Gordon, Tariq Evans, the Brow, Ryan Anderson, and all that stuff. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm very curious how they'll do. I'm still rooting for the Lakers. You know, they're one of the teams that I grew up with. You know, looking at Kobe when he still was rocking the fro and all that stuff. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But that was it on the Lakers. I've got two more teams left in the Pacific Division. The next team will be the Sacramento Kings. So thanks once again for checking out this video. If you haven't checked out my Instagram, it will be in the description. And please give this one a like and subscribe to the channel for some more videos on NBA. Thanks a lot and peace out.